Hey, what's up, Street Gods? Eric from the Eric and Street Photography blog. So, I wanted to share with you some practical thoughts on maybe this concept of living the best possible life possible. So, first and foremost, I'm just gonna unravel some of my personal thoughts. Okay, so first and foremost, I think the most important prerequisite of living the best possible life isn't money, it's not power or fame or wealth or stuff like that. Essentially, it's to have the maximum amount of free time possible. And the problem is, most of us unfortunately have 9 to 5 jobs, which means that at least 8 of our 15 waking hours per day is wasted on work. And if you factor in commuting, feeding yourself, running errands, and other silly things, I think the average American, we might only have like 2 or 3 hours of free time a day. And the sad thing actually is that even though you might have the free time, you might actually not have the energy to do anything. So if you have a really intense day at work, you're going to go home and you're not going to want to do anything. You're just going to want to vegetate and just like, I don't know, smoke a joint, watch some Netflix and just go to sleep. And I mean, there's obviously certain ways you could combat this is, generally speaking, I think trying to sleep earlier, and actually to sleep earlier, it's actually more difficult than waking up early, I know. And perhaps to use your morning waking hours, focusing on your passion. Or obviously there's always the weekends, which is good, assuming you don't have like too many crazy things to do on the weekend. I would actually be really, really extremely selfish on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, and devote those 15 hours each day to just focusing on your artwork, whether that be making photos, whether that means, writing, reading, whatever it may be, whatever is most essential for your own creative output. Okay, so that's just assuming you have a 9 to 5 job. And I'm not really that interested in kind of realistic solutions because I think, your life is short. Fuck it, why not just try to live the best possible life possible? And this is my thought. In order to live the best possible life, let's say the prerequisite is having maximal amount of free time. I really genuinely think the only way to do this is to become self-employed. Because once you become self-employed, you could dictate your working hours, you could dictate how much or how little to work, and ideally, your aim isn't to make $1 trillion. Your aim is to keep your living expenses as low as possible. So to adopt an ascetic lifestyle and to live like essentially like a poverty person, but do it sexy. And then just using all your other free hours, your 15-hour free hours during the day to do what's actually really meaningful to you. And I would say I'm in an enviable position because at this point, I got a sizable chunk of cash in the bank with Cindy. And essentially at this point, I'm like financially independent in the sense that I don't really need to work to make additional money. I mean, obviously it's always nice to add more money to the bank account, but I technically don't really need to. And that allows me to have a lot more free time to pursue what I'm really truly passionate about, which is, entrepreneurship, making these kind of videos, blogging, and so forth. And that's not to say that I'm not working anymore. I still do workshops because it's actually my passion, but the money is just like a secondary thing. It's really not the primary thing. And for me, the most important thing in my personal life is just to stay productive as a photographer, visual artist, blogger, vlogger, substance creator, and so forth. And I really feel that my personal goal in life is to help empower other people as much as possible, and also perhaps like discover some sort of deeper truths about life, reality, society, and for us to live better lives. And so, I mean, however you could decide be able to become self-employed. I mean, there's a trillion ways to do it, but I think the easiest formula to becoming self-employed is to obviously reduce your living costs to the absolute bare minimum. So that might mean, sharing a room with somebody. It might mean feeding yourself on $2 a day. Like that's the Elon Musk method where he only fed himself on spaghetti and hot dogs a day. I currently feed myself mostly just on eggs and just like cheap cuts of meat. And also to have no debt, to realize that even all these material things, I mean, like I purchased all this fancy stuff that I always wanted, and all of it is pretty much, I mean, it's all honestly a bit overrated, because no matter how fancy the thing you're going to buy, whether it be a house, car, equipment, you're going to get used to it sooner or later. And what do you not get used to is continue to make more artwork, whether it be making more photos, making more blog posts, whether it be creating more of your own art. And so I really feel that the ideal best life possible, and obviously this is just my opinion, is to become self-employed, to have the maximum amount of free time possible. And this is actually the tip. Never, 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 never trade your free time for more money. Always, I think the goal in life is to trade money in order to have more free time. Because, assuming, let's say, the average human, or not the average, but let's assume the maximum human lifespan is about 120 years. Because of human metabolism, the size of our bodies and the heart rate we have, no matter what all these like crazy people in the Bay Area say, you're not going to be able to live 1 trillion years or more than 120 years. I mean, and I think obviously it's a thing we want to live to be 120 years old in excellent health, because who would want to be 120 years old if you're about to like die, right? Like my ideal vision is I could be 120 years old, like a really fit 60-year-old or something like that. But anyways, so I think it's not even it's having maximal free time to just become the most epic artist or individual possible in your life, and to be able to empower the rest of humanity, like people alive today, and also future generations of humanity too. Like, for example, probably one of the best poets of all time, Horace, he, lived a pretty modest, frugal life, and his poems have lasted longer than bronze. And it doesn't really matter how rich he became, because after he dies, he's not going to be able to take his money with him. And even all these great artists and philosophers and poets from the past, I mean, certainly they weren't the richest people, and no one in history is remembered for how rich they are. They're always going to be remembered for the artwork they created, the books they wrote, the brave and glorious acts they did, or how they contributed to humanity. So even probably Bill Gates, he's not going to be remembered as being one of the richest guys. He's probably going to be remembered for his philanthropy. Same thing with Warren Buffett, and even Elon Musk. I'm sure he probably doesn't really care so much for all the money so much, because he's lived pretty much an ascetic lifestyle. Even now, I think he's like sleeping in a sleeping bag in the Tesla factory or something like that. And what is his meaningful thing is that like he's trying to send humanity to Mars, to empower humanity, to reduce the rate of fossil fuel consumption on planet Earth by creating Tesla and all these other industries related to renewable energy and solar energy. But anyways, so I think we should never make accumulating more money for the sake of making more money the goal of our lives. I mean, I think if you want to save more money as a game, I think that's totally fine. But still, I think every single day we should strive towards maximizing our creative power, our creative impact. And a very basic thing you do today is start your own YouTube channel, start making your own vlogs or uploading your videos of whatever it may be, starting your own website and blog. I've said this 1 trillion times, but I can't say it enough. Make your own website, blog. It's the same thing. I recommend using bluehost.com and then installing wordpress.org, and just register a domain, your first and last name, so like erickim.com or erickimphotography.com, and start to put your information out there. And the great thing with blogging and having your own website is that you'll become indexed by Google, and Google will never forget anything. So if you really want your artwork, your photos, your information, your knowledge to last ideally forever, then Google is probably your best bet. And I do think that it's important for us to work hard and to create a legacy where we're going to empower future generations of humanity, or we can inspire like our future grandchildren or other future humans. Because my personal thought is I don't personally believe in the afterlife. I mean, I'm a practicing Catholic, but I mean, I think that notion of a conscious afterlife where we're actually still kind of like this and we're cognizant, I don't think exists. I mean, I like the more spiritual idea that after I die, my minerals go back to earth and I could be used to feed some sort of avocado tree in the future to create some avocados, or maybe feed the water hungry almond crops we have here in California. But anyways, so yeah, I think, and just a basic thing for me on a daily basis, I have like I think the goal is whenever we go to sleep every single night, thinking to ourselves, if we die tonight, would we be happy with how we spent our 24 hours or our lives? And I think the best feeling is the feeling of feeling like victorious, like the idea that you're like going to sleep empty. Like I think the Todd Henry wrote a book called Die Empty. I think it's a good title. And the idea is that we've used the whole day to expend our maximal amount of human metabolism to create the artwork and create the things that we're really, truly happy with. And to know that we used all of our efforts to deepen our thinking, to deepen our wisdom, to deepen our knowledge, to look through our photos, to keep editing our work, for us to keep creating new artwork. And if we treat every single day like a mini lifetime, I think that's the best way to live the best life possible. I think on a general sense, personal things that I like to do to make each day feel the best possible. Obviously do some sort of physical activity, whether it be deadlift, squats, heavy dumbbell presses, or doing yoga or whatever like that. It means having lots of coffee, because coffee is good. Shooting some photos, looking at some old photos, thinking about artwork in general, reading philosophy, writing some things, making a few YouTube videos or blog posts, spending time with your loved ones, having a nice conversation, having a nice meal. And besides that, like, there's really not much more you could do to feel truly accomplished in a day. So let's continue to literally treat every single day like it were our last, memento mori, and for us to continue our noble hustle every single day to keep producing knowledge, information, artwork, and sharing with others, and to realize that nothing we create will ever be perfect, but it's really the pursuit and the drive, the determination, the courage we have in putting all this forward is what makes it worth it. So, this is obviously all just my opinion. Whatever you'll consider to be the best possible life is going to be your own opinion. So just think about, what would your perfect day look like? What are the things you would do, the things you wouldn't do? So feel free to maybe just leave a comment and just treat this as an opportunity for you to just think. So for me, a perfect day would consist of So for me, Eric Kim, the perfect day is having a nice conversation with Cindy, getting some good lifts at the gym, having some epic thoughts, writing, blogging, publishing, spending some time with some friends and family I care about, making videos, sharing them, getting new ideas that I'm excited for, and drinking coffee. That's pretty much my ideal life. And I would say that even though you do have the ideal life and the ideal lifestyle like I have, it's not really going to make you happy. Like, I don't wake up every single day, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. It's like I'm like everyone, I'm like, oh, fuck, gotta wake up. Oh, I'm so tired. I want to drink some coffee. And then about 3 espressos in, I start feeling like a normal human being. And then every single day, it's kind of a fun challenge to figure out, like, how am I going to make the best of it every single day? So, like our buddy Horace says, seize the day, make every single day epic, and hustle hard. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Peace out, and know that I am... Just kidding. Peace out.